Good morning guys, hello and welcome to another vlog of the India travel series. And as you can see from the attire and these brooms, I am now in my ancestral home, taking a break from traveling for a bit to help out at this house. So this is my childhood home. This is where I learned to crawl and probably took my first few steps as well before we moved out to a different place. So this is now my grandparents' house, and there are a lot of different chores in this house given where it's located, given the cultural setting and stuff that are probably very unique to this area, this house, this region, or the Indian culture that doesn't exist in the Western world. So I thought of documenting this as a day in my life so you can see what kind of things you'd have to take care of if you were to live in a place like this, and then you can contrast it with the kind of things that you'd take care of if in the Western world. So that would be a really nice experience. So let's get started. So the first order of business for today is this rooftop that we have. This is a really amazing rooftop. I use this place as my makeshift gym. I have resistance band that I hang onto these sort of grouts on the top and do some workout on the rooftop itself in the evening when it's not so bright and hot. And as you can see, we have a whole bunch of massive garden with massive trees down there, so I also have to go down and clean it up a bit. There's a lot of weed growing and chop off a few plants, trim them, make it nice and tidy. Probably I'll document that as well, but first let's clean up this rooftop. The reason why we have to clean up the rooftop is because in India on the rooftop collects a lot of dust. It's not the rainy season, and when it rains the water flows down towards the drain side. It clogs the drain thereafter, and then you have the water logging on the rooftop, which is bad because then the water seeps through the walls and then you have water seepage all around the house, which is then a pain in the ass afterwards. So it's better to just clean all the dirt off the roof when it's nice and dry, so that when it rains you don't have this problem anymore. So let's start cleaning this. These sunglasses were super helpful. Who knew there could be another use for them besides chilling on the beach? This brooming on the rooftop with like a reflective surface was quite difficult. I couldn't see anything, it was too bright, but now I can. So as you can see the amount of dirt that comes out. There's like a whole lot of it here, and you see this dry dirt and stuff. So if you don't clean this periodically, we have multiple drains and all of them have the same problem. So I'll quickly pick this up. And also there's another thing which I think you probably wouldn't notice in the Western culture, but in India we have multiple overhead storage tanks. So they look somewhat like this, and there's another tank which looks something like this, depending on where the water supply is coming from. But the reason why I showed you this is because these are pretty big tanks, but back in the day they used to be made of black color. Same company, black color. And as you can see, direct sunlight over that. So when you try to take a shower any time past 12 noon, you get boiling hot water. So basically we used to take out a bucket full of water, let it rest for a few hours, let it cool down, and then take a shower. Because in most places in India you don't get enough ample unlimited supply of water to take a 1 hour long shower or something. We use buckets to use limited water consumption. So that's that. Let's clean this up and move to the next task for the day. See that hole in the wall? That's where this TV used to be. So we wanted to plug in a Fire Stick and make it a smart TV, but there was some problem. The HDMI Fire Stick does not fit in properly. So we had to remove it off the wall, try and figure out what the problem is. There are some other mounts on the TV at the bottom which is making it hard to go in. So you have to get like a male-female extender for the HDMI, plug it in. So we had to call an electrician to do this for us. If this was the US, this would have been a very expensive ordeal, but luckily these kind of things in India are not so expensive. So half of the problem sorted. Now we'll get that extender cable for HDMI and then try it again either later tonight or tomorrow to try and see if we can make this work. For now, we go to the second rooftop and try clean that out. Check out the bunch of trees we have. We have a lot of papaya trees going this time around. We also have guava here, lemon here, bunch of flower trees, and you see this fruit that's custard apple. So we have also custard apple growing here. So we have a whole bunch of fruit and flower garden growing down there, but because some of these trees have grown so high up, it's kind of hard to see all the way down there and it's a bit shady. But I'll go down there and clean it up at some point. And typically in India we don't use dryers because it's already so hot, so we have these kind of like wires around. You just hang the clothes, let them air dry, and in just a few hours you won't believe your clothes would be like scorching hot and completely water free, like bone dry kind of dry. Anyways, so we're gonna clean this part of the rooftop as well, and then both the rooftops will be clean for and ready for the rain. Okay, 2 rooftops down. The next order of business, as you can see, the broom in my hand, is to broom the house and then mop it down. So in my grandma's house we do things a whole lot traditional way. So we do have some gadgets, we have modernized a little bit, but still we mostly rely on like traditional ways and means. So we don't have a Roomba, so I don the hat of a Roomba now, start brooming the house and then start mopping. And the mopping is quite different from what you understand as a mop. This would be like me going down on all floors and mopping with an actual piece of cloth. So see and let me know if this is what you imagine what mopping would look like. Also, while brooming this way is a whole lot more satisfying because in a Roomba it sucks up everything, right? So only when it's done you see in the filter how much dust it collected. This way you see it, you pile up the dust yourself. So I normally do it like one pile per room, so I can see how much I've cleaned up in that room. The only problem is because this is a manual way and there's no suction happening, you have to turn off all these fans, and right now it's really hot, so that means I'm gonna sweat a whole lot, but somehow it's like a whole lot more satisfying doing it this way. So let's get started with this mopping and brooming the house. So you see the brooming progress of just one room, just from this area. The thing is, we like a open aerated house, so that brings in a lot of dirt as well with it. We do have air cons and coolers and stuff, but the fresh air is always more welcome than having these electronics running around, and that's the price you have to pay if you open the doors and windows and let the dust fly. So doing a bit of mix of dusting and brooming at the same time. And now it's a race against the wind because the wind is flowing, so I need to pick it up soon before it spreads all around, and then I have to repeat and get stuck in this vicious cycle of brooming forever. So hang tight while I pick this up. So time to move to the next phase of the cleaning process, the mopping. But while I was doing that, I recognized a cooler and I remembered this does not exist overseas, so just wanted to show you guys what this is. So what this has is like this kind of grass panels on the inside. It's a very simple mechanism. There's a fan in the front here, there's a water pump inside, so you fill the base over here up until here with water. The water gets circulated and it dampens these panels with the grass, and the fan spins and it gives you a bit cool air that runs through the dampened grass panels. So this is a very ingenious solution that we had way before we started relying on air conditioning. So in our house we still prefer this. We do have a bunch of air cons, but this is still way better because it circulates fresh air. In an air con, once you turn it on, you close your room and it circulates stale air all the time. This takes fresh air from the outside, cools it in and sends you inside, so this is much better. I've only seen ever once of one of these when I was in Qatar, just before I went to see the camels. I had that snack on the outside and they made me sit in front of a cooler. That was a really amazing feeling, but otherwise I don't remember seeing this overseas, so I thought of including that in the vlog. But for the next phase, this is going to be the mop that we're going to use. We take a bucket of water, then we add our disinfectant and floor cleaner of choice. Typically we use this thing called a phenyl. It's a chemical that's like a dark white liquid, and we ran out of that, but it has a very nice smell and it's a disinfectant. But Lysol does the same job, so we're gonna add 2-3 caps of that in this water bucket and then start mopping. All done. Look at the amount of sweat I have. That was very satisfying. I did a thorough deep clean. I'm gonna reset the entire room, freshen up a bit and have some lunch first. Now I'm starving. Typically, we do have the maid auntie come over and help us out with the brooming and mopping things, but she wouldn't be doing the rest of the stuff that I did, like the rooftop cleaning and other parts of deep cleaning. So she has very limited role. But since she decided to take a uninvited and uninformed vacation, I thought I might as well do it myself and document it along the way. So after lunch, we're going to head out to the market to fix this TV and Fire Stick issue. So we'll hopefully get that mounted and have the smart TV up and running. But see you after the lunch break. Finally, time to go out to a nearby market and sort out the HDMI cable stuff. So let's pull out the car. We got all the supplies. Instead of getting it from Amazon, we got it from a local electrical shop. Now we have to go back home and test it out first before we call back the electrician to mount the TV back on the wall. So let's see if the smart TV project turns out to be a success or a flop. Yeah, Mission Fire TV Stick was a success. So this was a regular TV, wasn't a smart TV. Now it is a smart TV thanks to the Fire Stick. We did this in like installments. Every time we took a step forward, we got stuck a little bit. So after we got those supplies from that electronics store, we tried connecting everything. The TV had the power, but the display never turned on. So we had to call someone for help. Once they fixed that, then everything turned on. We mounted this. Then we didn't have a long enough cable, so I got that cable to bring it all the way. This is a temporary fix for now. I'll adjust the cables properly afterwards. But luckily everything works now, so that's my vlog. I was just checking everything out, checking the volume and quality and stuff. So I'm gonna set the sofa, reset the room a little bit to make this a nice viewing place so I can enjoy the vlogs, watch anything else on YouTube and have a nice evening. It was a very long and intense day. In the next vlog, I have something very special planned for you that is very unique to my grandma's generation. For example, modern Gen Z would probably have never seen things like that. So let's see if I can work on that. Until then, this is the Rustic Wanderer signing off. See you again the next time.